everyone, welcome back to PJ's CAD class. I found this really interesting chair. It's called egg chair, and I think that would be great for making it into a pendant or a charm. So let's take a look on those chairs. This is the charm we are going to build today. It's just like the image I show you on the Google. If you search egg chair. What you're going to learn today, the command you're going to use is a curve tool. So we'll use that curve tool to build the egg curve. And then we will use that to creating the surface. Once we create it, we want to offset the surface. After you offset the surface, we want to edit the control point. And then we'll blend two surfaces we just offset. On the bottom part, right here on the base, we're going to draw a curve and use revolve command. Let's get started. Since this is going to be a charm, I don't want it to be too big, and I want to send it to the shapeways to print it out. So I'm gonna working somewhere in this area. It's about here 15 millimeter high and roughly about 12 millimeter wide. Okay, so that's starting making an egg. There are many different ways to draw egg shape. If you go online, you're gonna find all kind of different way. I find it the easiest ones is using the arc to draw half circle, and then using the same arc. Now we are using a diameter to draw a arc go over that way. We're gonna snapping into the end point, draw an arc, then pass the middle point as well. Now we have this pointed things. It doesn't look like an egg. So what I do is I draw a curve, a straight line, and then using that straight line to trim this two end curve over there. Okay, then I don't need that straight line. And after that, I will just simply using the blend tool. I'm going to blend the curve from this point to this point, and you can adjust it if you want it. Alright, it looked good to me, so I'm going to join all of them. Gonna click on all of them and hit join. Alright, so now I have an egg. I'm just gonna turn on my gumball and move this egg up a little bit. Alright, and I'm also going to delete this dimension. Now we have an egg, and we actually don't need the whole egg because the tool we're going to use is revolve. So I'm going to split this egg. I just need half of it as my curve. So I'm going to click on the command bar. You see that point. You click on the point, and you want to snap into the quadrant or midpoint, whichever is showing in the half. So now I have this egg right here. Okay, just gonna move it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna go to the perspectives. It's easier for you to see right here. We're going to use the command that's leaving under the surface. It's called revolve. It will ask you which curve you want to revolve. I'll choose the curve that we just made. And then the revolving axis, I want to snapping endpoint to endpoint. And make sure you want to do starting angle is 0, and you do 360 degree. So now we have an egg right there. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we need to have a thickness of this egg. So I'm going to offset, and it's leaving under the icon. You can find offset surface, or you can go into the surface and then you can find the offset surface right here on the bottom. Okay, and I would like to do 0.8 millimeter because that is the minimum for the wax printing on the shapewear. Okay, now we have two eggs there. One is inside, one is outside. We're going to go to the right view. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna draw a curve. It's actually just straight line. Gonna turn off my grid snap, and I'm gonna cut an opening, something like this. I'm gonna use that straight line as my trimming tool, and I want to trim both of them off. Now if we go back to the perspective, what you're going to see is something like this. Since this is gonna be a chair, the interior seems a little bit too deep for a person to sit in. So we want to select the surface and we want to turn on the control point. It's leaving under the icon over here, or you can hit F10 as a hotkey. Alright, so let's go to the top, front view, and as you can see, well, let me turn off the outside, it's easier for you to see. Now we have this button, not where on the bottom for those control point, we can simply just move them up. As you notice, where the edge is moving to, and that's not what I want. So actually I just gonna move the very bottom one. Just gonna move it up to make it a little bit more flat. So imagine that the person sitting there will be comfortable. Okay, hit the escape key, ESC, so we can get rid of those control point. And then I want to turn on where the hidden layer. So let's go back to the perspective. Now it looks better for a person to sit in. Next tool we're going to use is the blend tool for the surface. It's leaving under the icon, very last one, blend surface, or you can find under the surface tool, which is here, on the bottom. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up the interior surface edge and pick up exterior surface edge. Now you kind of see there's a two arrow showing up. You always want to align it to somewhere. For me, usually align to the quad, so the surface will be better. And you click enter, then you can actually edit those curve by moving the bar in this dialog, and you can go 1 and 2 and then kind of adjust what kind of blend you like. Once you like it, you can preview it, and if that look nice to you, then you hit OK. So now we have this three surface. Remember to join the surface together so they become solid. Now let's do the base. I'm in the front view now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and we want to do the base. So I'm simply just gonna draw a curve, and it will look something like this as my base. Okay, and we're gonna use the same tool. Under the surface you will find revolve, in the center I'm gonna type it 0, enter, so that will be exactly on the 0, 0 axis. And gonna hold on my shift and click on it, make sure it's 360 degree, and we will have a base like this. Okay, remember that if we go to the perspective, you're gonna notice the base. Let me turn this off. This is actually not a solid. All right, so the command we're going to use to cap both open and make opening and make sure it's a solid, we're gonna use cap. You type it CAP. I don't know where the icon is, but I usually type this one, and it will ask you to select the surface. We pick up this one. Now it's a solid. Okay, so I'm gonna turn back to my egg. They look nice, and I'm gonna bowling union them. Now we done the chair. Feel like we need a pillow inside, so I'm gonna simply just draw a sphere, and that's snapping into the 0, and roughly eyeball where the interior is, so this should able to fit into it, right? And I'm gonna make it let's go to the front view, make it more skinnier by gumball, so we can scale only one side. Now we back to the perspective. Let's turn on the control point, and then right here in the middle you see that point. I want this point go down like this. Alright, maybe too much, go up a little bit. Alright, And you can do as decorative as you want. Maybe you want to put another sphere on it, and turn on the all snap, and I want to snap into that point. Alright, and okay, I'm gonna stop here, and this is gonna be my pillow. I'm gonna bowling unit them and move this guy up a little bit. Look like you have something inside like that. Alright, looks good. And then we can maybe up a little bit. Alright, so now we can put in unit. So we have the let's see the render view. Okay, so we have cushion-ish something there. This is just some additional if you wanted to do it. Alright, very final things, I want to add a jump ring on the top of it, so I'm going to use this torus. I call it donut. And then we're going to do the donut shape right there. Approximately like this. Like this. It's about 2 millimeter inside. It's definitely enough. Maybe it's too big, so something like this. Alright, done. So this is our chair. Okay, I hope you enjoy the video, and I will see you again in my other video. Thank you.